Hello, I'm Lisa Leutem with Minnesota Healthcare, and I am here today with Glenn, who is speaking about vegan energy. Glenn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Glenn. I'm a 31, Minneapolis resident, veterinary technician at a specialty vet clinic. Been vegan about 6.5 years now, so thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One being, how did you get into being a vegan?
Yeah, you bet. So, yeah, I went vegan about 6.5 years ago, just purely for ethical reasons. Still vegan for ethical reasons. But it took me a while to kind of realize that, not only is this diet good for everyone and animals, environment, but it's just the best possible thing I can be doing for my body, and it's the best possible thing everyone can be doing, for their bodies as well. So that was just kind of icing on the vegan cake, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, you certainly look like you've been a guy who works out. So going vegan must be good for your strength.
Yeah, for sure. So I know a lot of people, they kind of transition to this lifestyle if they have, if they're overweight, they're looking to lose weight. I kind of had the opposite effect. I've put on probably 50, 55 pounds since transitioning. I've gotten heavy into barbell training. So I'm just getting bigger and stronger and fitter. So it's definitely a big misconception that people with this lifestyle they're underweight or it's tough to gain muscle or strength, but that's just not true. So like my lifting goals this year, I want to bench press 300 pounds and deadlift 500 pounds.
Wow.
Neither of those are going to be world records by any stretch, but the point is 7 years ago as a non-vegan, there's no way, not even close could I be hitting those numbers. So it's not only is it possible to gain strength and muscle and overall health and fitness as a vegan, it's a lot easier than people think.
That's interesting. So 55 pounds is a lot of weight to gain.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what other health benefits you've had in going vegan?
Yeah, for sure. So I just don't get sick anymore. I used to get sick just like normal people get sick a few times a year, but it's been 3.5 years since I've needed to take a sick day. Even with these tough Minnesota winters, everyone around me is getting the cold and the flu, and they all have migraines and all these other things. Just I don't get any of that anymore. Digestive issues. This might be a little TMI, but it's tough to find a vegan who gets constipated. I know that's a big issue for a lot of people who consume animal products. So. That's definitely one thing that I don't struggle with anymore. I also sleep better too, which I think is really, really important for our overall health as well. I used to have a little more insomnia, waking up all the time, sleeping fitfully. That has gotten so much better these last few years. So
it's slowly changed for you?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you consider one of the biggest misconceptions about being a vegan?
I think about just people tend to think it's so much more difficult and more complex and maybe more expensive than it really is, which is just not the case. I mean, I do all my shopping now, Target, Trader Joe's, and that's it. You can get all your organic produce, all your staples, the beans, rice, pasta, all these things that people don't even think of as being vegan, but of course they are. So you don't need to go to these, don't need to go to fancy boutiques, you don't need to break the bank. You can just go to your regular grocery store. You don't need to make any significant changes, really.
What about protein?
Yeah, so protein is one of those questions, of course, we get asked time after time, and it's, protein is everywhere. Protein, it's in fruits, it's in veggies, pasta, grains, all these things. I get about 200 to 220 grams of protein a day right now. I eat a lot of soy, a lot of tofu, tempeh. So I don't need shakes or supplements. That's another thing where it's so much easier than people realize, and you don't need to do anything crazy to get there.
Well, you're certainly a big guy, so I can see that it's working for you with a protein-wise. So I've heard that longevity is good for people who are vegan. We have a couple books here in front of us, How Not to Die, The Blue Zones, and the China Study. you're here to discuss energy. So energy, of course, is life, and high energy helps, I'm sure, to assist with longevity. So you're saying your energy level now is higher than it was when you were a meat eater?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. With the sleep is obviously such a big part of how you feel during the day. So yeah, my sleep is so much better. My recovery, whether it's after a lifting session or just a long day of work, it's significantly better than it was back when I was just shoveling all this garbage into my body.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for people that are thinking of going vegan in two areas? One is like getting their family to understand that going vegan is okay, and then secondly, when they go out to dinner, maybe to someone's house, how do you deal with that, the vegan aspect?
Yeah, so that's one of those things where it's going to be pretty constant learning process, and everybody is different in that respect. Every family, friends, everyone's going to be different. So the important thing, I think, in those initial stages is just to be patient, maybe more patient than you might like, which certainly can be difficult. But awareness is everything. So you need to constantly be making people aware of all the different reasons that you're doing this, as well as coming up, not just giving them the reasons, but also providing them with alternatives, alternative recipes, substitutions, whether it's plant-based meats, plant-based cheeses. Fortunately nowadays we have so many good plant-based restaurants, in the area and worldwide, that once you start pushing people in that direction, it might be a slow process, but it definitely gets a lot easier.
Okay, so if you're going to someone's house for dinner, what do you suggest people do?
Just one of those things that's so easy to do is you can bring an appetizer or something it's vegan, and people don't think of it as being vegan. So chips and hummus, chips and salsa, these very easy, cheap things that people might not think about. And then
so for the main course, then you would discuss it with the host?
Yeah, it's something you should ideally discuss beforehand, just to kind of avoid anything. And it's always a good way to kind of get your foot in the door and just kind of bring up the issues, so they know as well. But it's just so easy to have these substitutions. If you want to make vegan pizza, that's super easy to do.
So one more question. So you work out at, like, I'm assuming a health club of some sort. So you have other friends also that are vegan that work out with you?
Yeah, so I think there's definitely a growing community of in the vegan fitness, people who are into various forms of lifting. There's there's vegan strongmen now. Patrick Baboumian is a big strongman, and he's been vegan for several years now, just getting stronger. There's all these ultra runners, Scott Jurek, one of the best ultra runners, 100+ mile races. He wins them, and he's been, I think, vegan for 15, 20 years now. So people are definitely making this connection. No matter what your health or fitness goals are, people are making this connection that this is something that not only can we survive with this diet, but we can definitely thrive with it and just continue to improve.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and one last question is, what is it that you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a veterinary technician at a
so
specialty vet
you're
clinic.
around animals a lot. So part of your passion is helping the animals?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so do you have pets?
Yeah, I have 2 cats.
Okay, and
Senior cats, yeah.
And you aren't going to eat them?
Nope.
And they actually eat vegan?
My cats actually do not. My older cat, she's 19. I adopted her recently.
I'm sorry. It's time to end the show. But I appreciate you being here, Glenn.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you again sometime.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. You have a great day.
You too.
Hello, this is Lisa Leutem. I am with Minnesota Healthcare, and I am from a company called Plymouth Regenerative Care. I'm here today as the host of the show, and I'd like to introduce you all to Kelsey. Kelsey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
My name is Kelsey Hambor. I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Animal Rights Coalition, a nonprofit organization in Minneapolis. And we get to talk to people all around the Twin Cities of all ages about why eating plant-based and going vegan is best for your health, for the environment, and of course for the animals. But we also run the Minneapolis Vegan Meetup page where we host dine-outs around the Twin Cities, free meal planning and nutrition workshops, cooking classes at the Mississippi Market, and then also pop-ups that we have at our vegan boutique Ethique Nouveau in South Minneapolis. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you are a vegan. How long have you been vegan?
Yeah, I've been vegan for almost 4 years now, and I got started in it because through school, actually. I've always been interested in nutrition, and I originally went to school for food science and nutrition at the University of Minnesota, but quickly realized that chemistry wasn't my strongest suit. So I was advised to go over to public health, and in public health I got to learn about nutrition, but then also about environment, which I am very interested in as well. And through my schooling, I didn't know that I wasn't healthy until going through these classes at the University of Minnesota and understanding that I could get all the nutrients that I needed from plants, and that actually by consuming animal products, I was only setting my body back further and harming myself further. And so I made the decision right there that I wasn't going to do so again, and I'll never go back.
So tell me, what health changes have you seen in yourself, and how long did those changes take place?
Yeah, so you get some immediate changes probably within the first month of switching to plant-based. You just feel better. Putting good products inside your body makes you just feel better. You feel more alive and more energetic. But then long term, like my sleep has gotten better, my digestion has gotten better, my skin feels a lot better and looks a lot better. And it just, like I said, in general, just like being more active and feeling more motivated to do things and stuff like that. So
is there anything you miss from going vegan?
Not at all, no. And if there was ever anything that I wanted, you can get it vegan, because they these days have everything that you can ever imagine that is now made from plants. And so even with foods, with traditions that we've had for years and years on holidays and stuff, like you can now enjoy those holidays totally vegan. So it's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
So do you find that it's difficult to explain being vegan to your friends? Do you hang out more with friends that are vegan because of that, or how has it changed your life in terms of social aspects?
It's interesting because I do still hang out with all of my friends that still consume animal products, and they know my lifestyle. And it's actually, I think that just from them seeing how I eat and how I just function throughout the day, that they've kind of learned and chosen to make better choices for themselves. So we'll go out to eat, and I have some friends that will order a vegan meal with me, or I'll show up at their house, and people who like to cook will cook it all vegan for me and stuff like that. So it's been really fun to see with friends and stuff like that, and then even with family too. So our holidays have kind of turned more into half and half, or even more so of like I'll cook all the side dishes kind of a thing, and make them all plant-based. So it's been really fun to have people understanding and being more open to it, because I know that with doing my outreach and stuff through my work, that there is that wall that people put up. So it's great that they've been understanding and just showing them the information and how it works. I mean, you can see it working. So
right.
Yeah.
So it's almost Christmas.
Yes.
And you won't be having any turkey on your Christmas
I will not.
table. So what will you have instead? Give us an example of the main entree.
Yeah, so there's tons of stuff that you can buy out there already pre-made, but I've actually been experimenting with making my own. I do like to cook, so they have vital wheat gluten that you can make your own like whole holiday roast out of, actually, and it's made from wheat, but you can season it the same way that you would season an animal product that is going to be your centerpiece, and make it taste just the same. It's got that same texture, and it's awesome. And you can even stuff it if you wanted to do a nice stuffing on the inside. So, like I said, with these days and all the recipes that we have, there's no way that you need to continue to consume these products that are just going to continue to harm your health.
Right, right. So is part of the reason why you have turned vegan then to save the earth type of thing, or?
Yeah, so originally through the public health courses that I took, I did learn about the environmental impact of animal agriculture and just the gallons and gallons, thousands of gallons of water that are used just for 1 pound of hamburger meat. I mean, that was just, it blew my mind. And to me, I didn't want to support that anymore. It didn't make sense to me statistically in my head. Why would I be spending this for one meal to use all these resources? And so it was just an easy, quick change. And then when I learned about the nutrition behind it and how what I'm putting in my body can actually not only help me to survive, but actually thrive and fight against diseases, it was just a given. There was just no doubt. And then when you see, you know, the animals and what they go through, and just knowing that with every dollar that you're not contributing to cruelty to them, it feels so good, and it's just a great thing to do.
So you're in charge of the vegan meetup group here in Minneapolis. How many people are in your meetup group?
I think we're at about like 3,500 now.
And have you heard of any healing stories or other people who are in your group?
Yeah, we get stories all the time of people that just will stop in just to see what's up, and they just want to, you know, kind of meet people that have the same, you know, lifestyle choices. And people make a complete turnaround. They are totally invested in being vegan and have these amazing stories about, you know, now volunteering at sanctuaries and being so connected with animals and being able to spread the word to other people too about how healthy it is for you and being able to reverse diseases and stuff like that.
What about children?
Yeah, we get, so we actually do have a program for children as well, and parents that are trying to raise their children as vegans. And so we have a program for families to come together. It's called Vegkins, and they can, parents will get together and just talk about, you know, what are some good meals that we like to put together for our kids, and what's the most nutritious, you know, how can we make sure our kids are growing and being the best that they can be and stuff like that. And so it's a really great community, and parents get to exchange resources and stuff like that.
So how often do you have meetup groups here in the Twin Cities?
Well, it depends on, it's probably like 4 times a month, because we do so many different things. So it's not just like us meeting out for doing dine outs, but we also do a meal planning workshop every month, a nutrition workshop every other month. And those are held at community libraries. And then we do cooking classes, and those are seasonal. So we have some in the winter, some for the fall. It just depends. But yeah, so many different things that we offer. It just depends, you know, always be checking up on our page. Sometimes we'll have more stuff for a month, and sometimes we'll have less events offered. So
just out of curiosity, what's the percentage of women versus men?
That's a very good question. You know, I'd like to say that it's half and half, but you know, it might be a little more women. But
so it's a good place for a guy to meet a
absolutely
healthy, beautiful woman.
Yes, absolutely. And we have more and more men that are interested in fitness and bodybuilding and stuff. So if anyone wants to form a group for bodybuilding, we would love to get that going.
as a sub aspect of your group. Okay.
Yeah, just more community based. You know, there's a bunch of different people that are interested in a bunch of different things, you know. So vegan is a whole lifestyle. There's so many different aspects, like you mentioned, the environmental, the health aspect, the animals. So we're trying to, you know, bring people in at all different ways of their life, and hopefully that they can find people that, you know, build them and get them to promote this information that we have. So
one last question then. You also work for a nonprofit. Again, what was the name of that?
Yeah, the Animal Rights Coalition in Minneapolis.
And so what do they do?
We talk about animal exploitation in all forms. So food's a big one. We eat 3, 4, 5, maybe times a day, you know. So we talk mainly that the best thing that you can do for animals is to switch to a plant-based diet. Because like I said, with every dollar you contribute to either cruelty or non-cruelty, you know. And so that's our main focus. But then we also, we go and we do peaceful protests. We do outreach at colleges.
And I'd like to thank you for coming in, Kelsey. I appreciate your time, but we're out of time today.
Yeah.
But it's really nice meeting you,
Yeah.
and I hope you have the best success with your meetup groups.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate that.
Hello, this is Lisa Leutem. I'm with Minnesota Healthcare today, where we help you to learn more about self-care. I am with a company called Plymouth Regenerative Care, and as your host today, I'd like to introduce Tony. He is going to talk to us today about celery juice with the medical medium. Tony, I'd like you to explain to us about celery juice and who the medical medium is.
Yeah, I'd be happy to get into that. My name's Tony Casbohm, and I'm 59 from Victoria, Minnesota. And boy, where do I start? I have had digestive issues for most of my life, and it just kind of became my normal. And so I never really addressed it until last year. It kind of came to a crisis. I mean, I was in really deep pain, had stomach cramps, bloating, gas, chronic constipation, brain fog, had trouble sleeping. I mean, the list goes on. And I just got to the point where it was like, I cannot live like this anymore. I mean, I've got to do something about it. And so I finally went and saw a nutritionist that a friend gave me a referral for. And I had one of those tests. It's kind of an electrical resistance test. The current goes through your body. And
Electrodermal screening?
I think that was it. Yeah, thank you. And results that came back were kind of scary. It really showed just how congested and plugged up I was at the cellular level. And so that person, after giving me the diagnosis, said, here's the things that you need to do to start reversing this. You want to crowd out these foods and eat more of these. And when I saw the list, it didn't make sense because it was a lot of the stuff that I was already eating. So I thought, well, we'll give it a try. And so I dutifully went to the store and I bought all the foods that were on the list. And I did that for a couple weeks. It didn't feel right. Didn't feel good.
Did they give you homeopathics that were individual for you, or supplements that were individual for you?
There were some supplements too.
Okay.
And then when I went back to the Whole Food store, or to the co-op, I was getting, I wanted to try some different foods because there was a wide variety of what was available or what I could eat. And when I went to the produce aisle, there above it sat an Anthony Williams Medical Medium book. And I had never seen it. I haven't heard anything about it. And that little voice in my head just said, I think you ought to buy this. And so I did, and I went home and I started reading it that night, and I read enough to know that this is the route that I was going to take. It really resonated with me, and because of my beliefs, I had a really, I didn't have any problem with the source of this information, because Anthony gets his information from what they refer to as the angel of compassion, a spirit that speaks through Anthony, and that gives him the gifts that he's able to share with everyone. So that was an easy transition for me to make. And so I told my nutritionist, I'm going to try this. This really feels right. And it was difficult getting started because just pure celery juice isn't the greatest tasting stuff. But after a couple weeks, I didn't mind the taste. But it is very cleansing. It has an urgency about it for, I think, the first month. I didn't want to stray too far from a bathroom. I mean, that's really just how powerful it was.
But just in the morning, right? Or all day?
A couple times throughout the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very unpredictable.
Oh, okay.
But I knew that it was working.
Okay.
Because that was all the congestion. I mean, I was chronically constipated. And it took probably 6 to 8 weeks before I really saw some regular change.
So the bloating went away?
Yeah, everything, it was gradual. It was something I knew I had to stick with. I was hoping for miraculous results overnight, but we all know we can't undo a lifetime of, poor eating in that short a time. So I just stuck with it, and then gradually I felt better and better. My energy came back. Digestive system, I mean, I just feel better than I ever have. I have more energy now than I think when I was a child. I feel like a teenager. I'm almost 60 years old, and I have the energy of a teenager. And I've gotten to the point where I really enjoy the taste, and I can't imagine not drinking it.
Well, that's awesome. So you do it every day?
Every day. Yep, that's my ritual in the morning.
Can you put ice in it or other things in it?
No, the protocol really requires just a straight, fresh celery juice.
And can you eat it with other food then at your breakfast?
No, you're supposed to take it on empty stomach first thing in the morning, and you don't want to put any other additives into the juice. It's just straight celery juice.
So give me your morning. You get up, you do your celery juice, then what do you do?
So first thing I do, I get my juicer out, I make the juice, I drink it, and
How much?
16 ounces.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just starting to increase that. I just, like this morning, I did 24 ounces, and I'm going to probably work my way up to 32 ounces because I was just excited last night about sharing this information with people, so I started reading the book. And there's so many more benefits to it than I had initially sought. And now I'm seeing that all the different mystery illnesses that can be cured. There's electrolytes. There's a plant hormone that supports all the different glands in the endocrine system. There's micronutrients. I mean, the list goes on and on what is packed in this, lesser known vegetable, or it's really an herb. Anthony says it's an herb. And there's been times when it's been hard to find at the store. I think it's starting to catch on a little bit.
Get sold out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So celery, can it be organic? Or, I mean, does it have to be organic, or can it be regular celery?
Ideally organic, but if you don't have organic available, then just regular traditionally grown is just fine. But I think it's going to have a little more effectiveness if it is cleaner and organic.
So how soon after having your celery juice can you eat your breakfast?
The protocol requires or suggests 30 minutes before ingesting any other drink or any food, just so the
water?
the juice, even water. Yeah.
Okay.
So that way it gives it the most effective circulation through the body before it's tainted
Okay.
with any other foods or any other drink.
So
And
you've read the books. You have one book, or how many books of his do you have?
I've got them all now.
And how many books are there?
There's 5 of them.
Can you tell me the name of those books?
Oh gosh, well the first one was Medical Medium, and then there was Life-Changing Foods, and then there was Liver Rescue, and then Celery Juice was the last. I'm missing the 4th one.
Thyroid healing.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the 5.
So tell me, what's the name of this man?
Oh, Anthony William.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does he go out and speak a lot, or what does he do with his time?
Yeah, he does a lot of YouTube content. He does speaking. He used to do one-on-one sessions with people, but now he's in such demand that he's trying to reach a huge global audience, and so YouTube and his books are probably the best way to do that.
Okay. Well, Tony, I just wanted to tell you that it's really awesome learning about him. I just have 2 more questions for you. Last one, what is it that you do for a living? But before that, we've got in front of us a couple books here on longevity. So all these areas here talk about being vegan and living longer. What is his opinion on veganism, and what is his opinion on longevity?
Well, he speaks often about when you implement a whole foods diet, and celery juice is just one protocol.
Sure.
I mean, there's lots and lots of different ways to eat with Anthony William.
So you don't have to be 100% plant-based.
Correct.
'Kay.
No,
Right.
no. I mean, you can actually cheat a lot on your
Okay.
diet, but if you do maintain the celery juice, it really is a miracle.
Yeah, so it
Curing.
helps to heal you regardless of some of the cheating that you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I just have another question then,
Yeah.
the final one here. I'd like you to tell me, Tony, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a contractor specializing in concrete.
Okay.
Yeah, the name of my company is Foreman Pour Cement Works, and I've done it now longer than I ever imagined I would. It's been about 34 years. So.
Okay, so
But
this works.
I don't eat well during the season, and so I've changed that
Okay.
since I discovered Anthony William, and I intend on doing it for the duration.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show, and I certainly hope to see you again sometime soon, and best of luck with your celery juice and your medical medium protocol.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. It's been a pleasure,
Absolutely.
and I hope people are able to take a look at Anthony William's Miracle Cures.
Awesome. Good to have you here.
Thank you.